We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Imagine. Cash, cold, that's what I need. Oh yeah, cash, cold. That's what I need. Welcome everybody to LA Talk Live, to our brand new show. I'm your host, Reggie Calloway, and the show is called Money and Music. Money and Music with Reggie Calloway. We're going to have a ball. I'm telling you, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. A very, very exciting lineup of shows to both educate, motivate, create, and bring us all in line with our true blessings in this world. So I tell you what, today we're going to have our inaugural show, and I'm going to kind of break it down to you, some of the things that we'll be talking about and some of the things that we'll be dealing with. Financially speaking, money is just one part of it. You want to have some love, you want to have some peace, and you want to have some happiness, and that will help to sustain all your deals. So that will be one of the areas that we'll talk about in this show, will be the psychology of money. Another area will be dealing with the music side of where money flows, from concerts to royalties, to educating the guests on what these financial royalty streams are all about and how we can sustain them. And there'll be a part of the show called the Royalty Exchange Moment, and I'll tell you more about that. We're going to do a lot of special guests. Our guest today, Rupert Francisco, is a pretty awesome guy in the financial market. He's going to bring some tips to you that will help sustain you and take you into the future of your life, as well as maybe help clean up some of the past problems you've been dealing with. So that educational part is a very, very, very relevant part. We have some books that we'll talk about that help guide you through the different things that you're dealing with, and situations to uplift you, to find the knowledge and information you're looking for. And primarily, we're going to have a ton of current news. I mean, news is popping off right now, what people are doing, how it's affecting the world, how it's affecting society, and how it's affecting finance. In fact, I want to say hello to Tori. Uh-oh, I done messed you all up. That's my Tori. You got some serious topics we're going to talk about today. Give us a little clip of just kind of what we're going to be getting into.
All right, thanks, Reggie.
Tori Terranova,
yes, thank you. So we're going to be talking about a couple things today, mainly of the music industry's perspective of what's happened to Robin Williams, the tragic loss. Also, who has the top grossing concert tours for this year? It may not be who you suspect. The whole Rupert Murdoch, Fox saga, what's happening with that. And lastly, and among other things, new album releases.
Cool. So it's going to be quite exciting. So stick with us throughout the whole entire show, LA Talk Live. I want to thank Richard Carr and the entire staff for having us aboard this show. It's going to be an amazing show, Money and Music. Can you imagine putting them both together? I want to thank Shakim for being our engineer and co-producer in here, making sure that everything flows smoothly for you today. So in this particular first two shows, I'm going to kind of bring everyone up to date of what I've been doing and who I am and where I've come from. And some of you may well know me. Once again, Reggie Calloway. I cut my hair and I'm letting the gray show a little bit because I'm much wiser today. I hope and pray. But I'm going to kind of take you all the way back. In this first show today, I'll be telling a lot of my story and take you all the way up through the midnight star times and really dig into some of those great times. Then on the next show next week, I want to pick up from Midnight Star and move forward and tell you what we've been doing since then. But just to give an overall view, some of the things that I've been doing. Of course, a lot of you may know me as the founder of Midnight Star. You may know me also as a songwriter and producer, working with a lot of different groups out there that we're very, very proud of. And my work with my brother, Vincent Calloway, I want to thank him for allowing me to be here today representing the family and the brotherhood. So many people to thank in this history that goes all the way back to childhood. And I started out born in Cheyenne, Wyoming. My father was in the Air Force, so when they say Air Force babies, some people say Air Force brats. I just say Air Force baby. My brother Greg and I were both born in Cheyenne before moving back to our hometown of Louisville, Kentucky, where my father and mother were from and grandparents. And we have a great fan base in Cincinnati, to where we really grew up at after leaving Louisville, Kentucky. But doing this Air Force extravaganza, my mother tells me a story of how she took me to see Duke Ellington and some of the great jazz guys. There was a great concert, and the only way that she could go to the concert was take me as an infant. So hearing all that great music as a little child was maybe got stuck in the DNA somewhere. But before that, of course, my father played some trumpet. My grandfather played drums in the Louisville marching band that marched through the town doing special events. Aunts was a singer. Uncles on both sides of the family played the piano and the organ and different things. So we had somewhat of a musical family, but not in the professional sense, but more in the enjoyment and the respect and the culture of it. So that led to, going to grandmother's house, which was right next door to a church where the music was banging coming out of it. We went to a nice, quiet little Methodist church in Southwick Projects, but at my grandmother's house, it was what you might call a holiness church, where they used the tambourines and the drums and the organs, and I mean, there was some shouting going on, and we could hear it on a nightly basis, and especially on Sundays, ringing out to my grandmother's house. And that created a love for the rhythm, a love for the sound, a love for the music, a love for the enthusiasm and the praise that goes on with that. But like you say, once again, music being born inside, you want to just tinkle the piano whenever you see one. My grandmother had a piano at our house, and I'd walk by and tinkle it and sit down and watch my uncle practice, who could read music, and he was not much older than us, but still our uncle. But so watching his fingers move, I didn't learn to read for a while, but I wanted to know how music worked, and that's primarily how I started writing songs, just sitting at the piano, just banging out the notes and hanging around, seeing what the black notes did, seeing what the white notes did, see how they worked together, and figuring out little melodies. So it started early with me wanting to create my own music. It was all right to hear it, but I wanted to make it, being inspired by songs like Duke of Earl, sitting on the corner with the fellas. As a little kid, we on the corner singing Duke of Earl. Bass, couldn't hit the bass notes, but thought about them. And I know there's another song, Poison Ivy. That was a melody that was so cute. But the real song that got me going was Do You Love Me Now That I Could Dance? Because I figured if I could dance, then I could meet the girls and be a little bit more popular. So that song really led to my career. Another great song, If You Should Lose Me, You'll Lose a Good Thing. Now, Shakim, I thought that was sung by a man all these years. I had to be over 40 years old to find out that was actually a woman singing that song.
That's crazy, right?
That blew my mind. Of course, but my voice was right in tune with that being small and everything. But if you lose me, you shall lose a good thing. That is a heck of a message. And I think that we all should appreciate ourselves in that kind of extent. As we talk about money and music, that is very, very important that you realizing your self-worth. When we'll talk more about Robin Williams as we go through the show, but there's some extensive psychological things about finance that become so very important. So I got you through my childhood. Then we later moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, and that was a whole nother musical mix, because in Cincinnati, Ohio, there was this man named James Brown, and I just went and saw the film just the other day and took my mother. It was pretty amazing to watch this story unfold, because to see a movie where you can see the person from a child all the way to the very ends, to still performing on stage at 70 years old. It's quite a feat, and we go through a lot of life changes during that time, and a lot of financial woes once again. So in Cincinnati, we were able to go see James Brown for 99 cents at the concert. He would do an Easter concert, and everybody could put on their Easter suit or whatnot, and go see James Brown for 99 cents at the convention center. So I got to see from James Brown from the Famous Flames all the way up to the guys in the band quit, and he had to go and hire Bootsy and Phelps, who was my homeboys from Cincinnati. So I saw both shows. I saw when Bootsy took over on the bass, and saw the energy of James' show even take on to another level. But our James Brown saga goes further than that, because it was such an instrumental figure in our lives to inspire us, because we could see what he had done and what he achieved coming from very, very meager means. If you've seen the movie, then you see how he grew up in a small shack with parents who had virtually nothing to offer, and after being switched around from sort of home to home, pillar to post, he landed in a situation that gave him a whole nother psychology about success and about money, to know that he could actually do it, he could actually make it, and someone believed him, and then he went on to fight the battles of becoming the true James Brown spirit. So by the time we got to meet him, he already had the jet plane. He already had by this time he had the afro, and the song "I'm Black and I'm Proud" was out, and you could rally around that and see that there were possibilities beyond where we came from and how we started. So as a family, or as a country or whatnot, everything is possible. So my mother believed in this possibility so incredibly much that we were opening up her flower shop as a independent entrepreneur. We had a flower shop in the front, and she put an ice cream parlor in the back, so that the boys could run the ice cream parlor and not be bored while she ran the flower shop. So for our grand opening, she picked up the phone and got a number for James Brown.
Wow.
Called up James Brown and said, would you come by my grand opening and see what your sister is doing? And James actually answered the phone. She had this hotline number. He was in town, and he says, you know what, I'll come by if you promise not to have a crowd. If you have a crowd, I'm just going to keep driving. And so we had to keep it real private. We couldn't tell even our best friends. So we could tell one friend, and we had a few family members in town that all came to the grand opening, and James Brown showed up. He showed up to the grand opening, and he spoke to the kids, and he spoke to the neighbors and family that were a part of the opening. It was just so gracious, and never ever forgot that. And I'm going to skip forward as we move into another area, because I want to hear what Tori has to say on some of these news events. But the big circle for that was after Midnight Star reached our mark and we became known, we had an opportunity to open a concert and a big award show in Washington, D.C., where James Brown was headlining, and Eddie Murphy was the MC. So Eddie brought us on, we performed, and between the set, my brother and I had 8x10 pictures of ourselves as kids with James Brown from this grand opening. Wow. And we wanted him to see it so bad. And our road manager took the pictures up to James, and we never saw those pictures again. we do have some Polaroids that are like, how the Polaroids start burning and bending, We got, I've scanned them, so I got the Polaroids, but those 8x10s were pristine. So whoever out there has my 8x10s of me and James Brown and my brother and family, we demanding.
I want it back.
You want it back? Yeah. So Tori, we have some awesome things in the news going on. Let's get right into a few of those stories, and we'll see what's happening with money and entertainment and money and music right now.
All right. So I want to start with who's killing it in concert tours this summer 2014. It might not be what you expect. Thanks perhaps to the legions of high school girls who are off from school. Our number one band this summer is definitely One Direction. The UK band's trek around the US has generated more than $131 million this summer. I mean, that's huge. That's over 17 million tickets sold. That's beating the Rolling Stones, even though they just did that tour in Israel with 115 million. Coming in third is Justin Timberlake. He ranks third on the list with 110 million, even though with his 2020 tour going on right now returning to the U.S., sales are bound to go up. So One Direction seems to be nothing stopping them. Boys bands are clearly back.
Let me just pause right there because I was talking with our guest who's coming on the second half of after the break, and we were talking about what concerts make today compared to what they made back in the day. And I'll skip back to James Brown once again. As James Brown began to tour, he realized that the promoter was getting a bigger share of the money, and so he helped to invent the artist promoting and producing his own concerts, and then in turn paying the promoter instead of the other way around. But even in our heyday of Midnight Star, the ticket prices were nothing compared to what they are now. I mean, people are paying $40 and $50 on a regular ticket and upwards of $200, $300 on these extravagant tickets. So the income of these tours, as you said, is totally amazing. And that's another reason why a lot of the classic artists find themselves in financial problems, because they're just not making the kind of money that's out to be made in this modern day time. So
the trend is the ticket prices are up. On Polestar, it's, I think, the One Directions are $70 a ticket. Rolling Stones was $110 a ticket. So the more legendary you get,
not 99 cents, right?
Not 99 cents.
Not 10.50.
No, the ticket prices are going up. You know, with the changes in the music industry, they're having to raise the ticket prices. It's the way to survive. But all right, so we roll on Robin Williams, we were mentioning earlier. Actually, before I start this segment, I want to insert that I went to the SAG Voice Awards, a lot of it yesterday, which is about substance abuse and how it affects the entertainment industry. And a lot of it was focused on Robin Williams. And it was a great event that touched me very deeply. But Robin Williams, a lot of the news has been focused this week on how he died, his depression. But what I want to talk about is Robin Williams' place in music. A lot of people don't know that Robin Williams actually had 5 Grammys and was nominated for a few more as well. His first Grammy was in 1979 for Reality, What a Concept. That was his first comedy album. And then in 1980, he was actually nominated for Best New Artist, but lost out to Ricky Lee Jones. He actually had a song on the Billboard Top 200 called I Am What I Am from the movie Popeye, which is kind of interesting. So Robin Williams was actually on top radio singing I Am What I Am. He also has Grammys for A Night at the Met in 1987, Pecos Bill, Good Morning Vietnam, and most recently, Robin Williams Live 2002. So Robin Williams, not just a comedian, but also important in the history of music.
So Tori, you're so young. Do you know who Popeye is?
I remember the cartoon, and I actually love spinach. I think it's my favorite vegetable.
Oh, well then you know. That's what the song was from. He was playing Popeye the Sailor Man.
I am what I am. I am what I am.
That's classic. That's legendary. Yeah, we watched a couple of different Popeyes. Every time they changed the cartoon, I'd get mad. You know, they redraw the character. You know, that's like when they did Mighty Mouse, and he started out one way, he was big muscles, then they made him skinny, and like, stop messing with my cats.
Yeah, I watched a clip of Robin Williams, and they had inserted these big foams in his lower arms.
Yes.
Like, do people have muscles in their lower arms?
Muscles. But we're gonna revisit some more Robin Williams when we talk to Rupert, because I think money management in that case becomes a very, very important part of that's a good thing for us all to grasp as we learn from situations of others. But I want to just take a little break right here. Let Shot Kim's got some music for you. We're going to slide into something really cool and come back with our special guest, Rupert Francisco from J.E. Holdings, LLC. See you in a minute.
Cash, cold, that's what I need.
We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and hosts of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Collectors, they ring my phone. They bother me when I'm not at home. Ain't got no time to be fooling around. Feet hit the floor, then I get on down. You see, I want money, lots of money. I want the pie in the sky. I want money, lots of money. So don't be asking
Reality radio, handcrafted for your listening pleasure. You're tuned in to LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk.
Hubert's Lemonade, tasty, refreshing, sweet, and tart. Happiness in a bottle. Visit Hubert's Lemonade at hubertslemonade.com. Once again, that's hubertslemonade.com. Happiness in a bottle. Xavier Tees and Tots, groundbreaking fashion, forward street smart designs. Tees and Tots for men, women, and boys. Visit XavierUSA.com. Once again, that's XavierUSA.com.
Freakazoids, robots, please report. Freakazoids, robots, please report to the dance floor.